It can be difficult bringing visitors back to your radio station website day after day after day. Well, today we'll look at one of the best proven ways for you to succeed at this: user generated content.
You're listening to Better Radio Websites, the definitive podcast for radio professionals who want their websites to generate more traffic and substantial revenue. Get time-tested techniques, secret tricks, and valuable tools in online content, marketing, analytics, security, social media, and much more. Ready for your radio station to dominate digital in your market? Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we're back on YouTube. So if you haven't checked us out on YouTube in a while, I know that we've been away for a while. Be sure to check us out there, like and subscribe, and do all of that jazz that you normally do on YouTube. Well, let's jump into today's topic. One of the most challenging aspects of this thing that we do of maintaining our radio station websites is creating the right content that keeps visitors coming back day after day. It can be a challenge. And with so many options out there pulling attention strings, it can be real easy, even for us, to forget about the radio station website. But we don't want to do that. And we especially don't want our visitors doing that, because it can be a great source of revenue for us if we do things right. So we must find innovative and compelling reasons for visitors to return very often, daily, so we can monetize that traffic. Now, one extremely powerful tool for this transformation is user-generated content. Now, I know we've talked about this several times in the past, but I really want to dig deep into it this week, because I believe that user-generated content, or UGC, as we may call it, not only diversifies the content that you have, but it also fosters a sense of community among your listeners. And this is going to encourage them to return to your website regularly. And this approach really is vital moving forward for decision makers and content creators who are really seeking to enhance engagement and to drive revenue. So let's kind of rewind a little bit. What is user-generated content? Well, user-generated content is any form of content, may that be text, videos, images, reviews, anything that the visitor creates for your brand. Facebook is the ultimate example of this. Facebook doesn't create the content that it displays. 90% of what you see there has been created by someone else who uses their platform. So in the context of radio and our radio station websites, this includes anything that the listener creates, from playlists to comments, event or news post. UGC, or user-generated content, can be a gold mine for your radio station and your radio station website, because it offers fresh perspectives and great content while involving your audience directly into your radio station's ecosystem. So what are some fresh user-generated content ideas? I've sat down and for hours come up with 21 things that you could be doing on your radio station website for user-generated content. And this may be, I just may not be thinking of every single one of them, but here are 21 user-generated content ideas. Listener-generated playlist. Several radio stations in the past have done this. They've invited listeners to submit their playlist for something called maybe a listener's hour or something like that. Your radio station could have a weekly segment where listeners' themed playlists are played in their entirety, blending in different genres and eras chosen by your audience. All it would take is a submission form on your website to include one of these, and then just pulling it off. Number 2 is audio stories or experiences. Encourage listeners to share personal stories or experiences that resonate with your station's theme. These could be heartwarming tales about maybe concert experiences, musical journeys, adding that personal touch to maybe a broadcast. BBC Radio 1 used to have a segment called Listeners' Tales, where audiences shared their unique stories involving the music that's played on BBC One. These could be around a specific theme, like, the concert that changed my life or something like that. And those are interesting things. What they do is the listener goes to the website and then puts their information on there, and they create this content for your website. Number 3 is radio station blog or news contributions. Yeah, open up a section on your website for listener contributions that could range from anything like concert reviews to opinions on the latest music trends. For instance, a jazz-focused radio station might have listeners contribute articles on their favorite jazz legends or reviews of local jazz concerts. Number 4, interactive polls and surveys. This is one of the easiest things that you could probably pull off on your radio station website. Just use your website to host a poll, and this could be something that is in your content management system or something that maybe you pull from a Google document or something like that. But it could be on anything, upcoming music releases, local events, listener preferences. This not only engages your audience, but it also provides valuable insights to you on what your audience likes, what they prefer. And then you can start building more content around this data that you're getting in. An example could be maybe a survey on the best albums of 2023, where the listeners vote and comment on their choices. And that data could maybe help you make music decisions going into the new year. Number 5, photo posts. Encourage listeners to submit a single image about something going on in their community, kind of like a Pinterest type board type thing. Think of a sporting event, concert post, a new food item at their favorite restaurant, a street light out at the corner of X and Y or something like that. Anything that the listener deems important can be a photo news type story. Just an image, headline, maybe a tagline or something like that, and include likes and comments to go along with it. Maybe add a little like button on the photo, and then whoever gets the most likes at the end of the week or something like that is maybe they get a prize or something like that. You can incentivize all of these different user-generated content ideas. A photo and video contest is another one. You can host themed contests where listeners can submit photos and video links. Like for a country music station, a Country Life photo contest could engage listeners, featuring the best entries from the station's social media and website. Listener-hosted podcast segments. Yeah, offer a segment where listeners can host a short podcast episode. This can range from a music commentary to interviews with local artists, providing a platform for budding radio talents, perhaps. You could probably start with a young person that you know interviewing their teacher. I mean, it's a podcast. It's probably not something you're going to put on the radio, but a podcast, you can do this, and it doesn't have to be professional. I mean, look at this. This is not professional. However, what you may want to do, even though it's maybe a young person interviewing their teacher or something like that, you may consider building a professional intro and outro to the podcast so that the host feels special. I think that would be an amazing thing to do, and something that could easily go viral. You could accept comments. We've talked about this before many times. One of the easiest things that you can do to generate user-generated content is simply to enable comments on your news post or your event post. Anything that is controversial, you can expect it to blow up. We have one of our affiliate websites. They have enabled comments on their website. And if it wasn't for the comments, they say that they would probably lose half of their traffic, because the comments is what people come back day after day after day to see and engage with. So it can be huge for the websites that actually enable comments on their website. A local artist spotlight could be another example of user-generated content. Have a segment dedicated to showcasing local up-and-coming artists. Listeners can nominate their favorite bands and musicians, and the station can feature interviews, play their music, and even host live performances based on who's in the spotlight that week. Number 10 is a submit your fill in the blank. If you do local events, obituaries, classifieds, anything like that on your radio station website, ensure that you have a way for visitors to submit their own. This is best utilized if you have a submission that can automatically be inserted maybe as a draft status, rather than you taking the form data that you would get and then copying and pasting it over into a new event or a new obituary or something like that. It's going to make it a whole lot easier for you if you have that system in place. Another way of generating user-generated comment, number 11 in our list, is listener voice segments. Yeah, invite listeners to record short audio segments sharing their opinions on various topics ranging from music reviews to local news. These could be featured in regular radio shows, creating a more interactive listener experience. A lot of radio station apps now have a call-in type feature where the listener records a request or a comment or something like that and sends it into the radio station from the mobile app. So that's a good feature to have. Number 12 is Youth Reporter Program. Set up a program with your local schools where young listeners can submit news stories, particularly those relevant to a younger demographic. This could include school events, youth sports, or issues impacting young people in your community. Now, this could probably start off as a small segment on your radio station, maybe in the morning show or in the midday show or something like that. But then it could turn into maybe a podcast as well. So that is something that you could of course, now when I say that these can be things on the on air and on the website, and then maybe even a podcast, all of these different things can be monetized by the radio station. So when I say that you have all of these other things that you can create, you should be able to monetize every single one of them. All right, number 13 in our list is in your neighborhood segment. Create a regular radio segment or in a website feature, of course, focusing on interesting events, changes, and stories from different neighborhoods surrounding your radio station in the listening area. Listeners can submit what's happening in their specific area. And this is going to aid in that hyper-local feel that we've talked about in the previous weeks here on the podcast. Number 14 is a community hero spotlight. Invite submissions to recognize local heroes or outstanding community members. Each week or month, select an individual to feature on your station and on your website, highlighting their contributions to the community. You may want to even present them with something special that has the station's logo on it so they can have that in their office or their business or something like that that can be seen by other people. Number 15 in our list is school and university events. Partner with local schools and universities to feature the institution's events, achievements, and news. This could include everything from school plays to university research breakthroughs. Really anything that the school has going on, you could highlight in this. Number 16 is best of campaigns. We've talked about this before. Take submissions on various categories around the area, like the best pizza restaurant in town, the best car wash, the favored baker, the best catering service, so forth and so on and so on. Once the lists are compiled, then you open voting on each one of those categories and then award the winners some station-branded signage that they display prominently at their business. That's going to, again, bring back the top of mind for the radio station as well. So everybody benefits with a best of campaign. And there's links to that. We've interviewed Radio Alabama and their best of campaign, and we've talked to other folks in the podcast. You can we'll have links to that in the show notes. Number 17 is photo-based scavenger hunts. Yeah, organize a scavenger hunt where listeners submit photos of specific landmarks, events, and then items around the city, and then take participants to receive points or rewards if they can guess that location or that thing around the town. This could be a very, very big for your radio station website because, one, you have the submissions, and then you have the guesses on where this is. This could be very, very cool. Number 18, song battles. Allow listeners to vote on song battles between two different songs, basically a make it or break it type thing. Two songs could go head to head each day. Listeners vote on their favorite one. The winning song gets extra airplay or aired at a specific time during the day. Number 19 is real-time traffic and weather reports. Allow listeners to submit real-time updates and via maybe the mobile app or maybe a form on the website. This could be particularly useful during peak commute times or severe weather outbreaks. One of the things that our local TV stations do is where you can submit photos or video of the hailstorm that's happening right now or something like that. All their mobile app. This is all very, very good and generating that user-generated content. Number 20, listener polls and quizzes. I think we've mentioned this once, but you can run interactive polls and quizzes on various topics like music trivia, local history, current events, anything you can think of. Results and discussions could be shared on the website and during radio shows, of course, shared out on social media as well. And number 21 is a prayer wall. This is something that we recently added as a plug-in to our websites. It's where we encourage visitors to post things that they wish to be prayed for. And then others can see the list, see a small little thing of what they want, what the person wants to be prayed for, and then they can click a button saying that they prayed for this. And then when they do, the person who submitted it receives an email saying that they were prayed for. Now, not only does this generate a lot of traffic to and from the website, it does a really good job of building a community of prayer around your radio station and your community. So even if you're not a gospel station, this would benefit your station website. All right, so that's our list of 21 user-generated content. Now, you probably, while I was talking about that, maybe thought of some other things that could be user-generated content. And if you have, please leave us a comment in the podcast to let us know what those are so we can add those to a future episode. So just keep in mind, though, simply setting up user-generated content on your station website and having maybe a banner slide or a banner ad pointing to that, it's not going to cut it. For UGC, user-generated content, to work and to succeed, you must encourage participation. You must hit it hard on air and over social media. Make the process of submitting content straightforward, accessible, and maybe even a little exciting. Regular prompts and calls to action during broadcasts can direct listeners to the website. And more importantly, be sure that you have a system in place for moderating the content that you receive that aligns with your station values and quality standards. Leveraging UGC content and growth, it's going to enhance your website's appeal. It's going to drive traffic, encouraging repeat visitors. That's what this whole thing is all about. Moreover, it opens new avenues for advertising and sponsorships as businesses are keen to associate with interactive and engaging platforms. So the more traffic and the more buzz you can build around this content, the more apt for advertisers to say, hey, my ads need to be right next to that because everybody is talking about this. A well-executed UGC strategy not only boosts your digital presence, but it also strengthens your bond with your listeners. You get them involved. I mean, think about it. With so many options out there for news and information, incorporating user-generated content, it's much more than a trend. It's a vital strategy for your radio station website. It has the opportunity to really reinvent the radio station website, thus the title of the episode today, because it turns the website into something that is consumed, from something that is consumed to something that is experienced. So the listener is involved with the website. They're not just sitting there reading the content and scrolling from page to page or seeing a post and then jumping off. They're actually being engaged with the content that you're creating. So by embracing user-generated content, you invite your audience to be an active part of your station's narrative, leading to increased engagement, a vibrant online community, and ultimately a more successful digital presence. And hopefully this is going to turn into more revenue for you. It's all about more visitors and more revenue. That's what this podcast is about. Hey, again, if you have come up with any more user-generated content ideas during this episode, please let us know. Leave a comment or leave a review wherever you get this, and reach out to us if you need or you know of somebody who needs help with their radio station website at skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week online, making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating or comment, and share this episode with your team and radio colleagues. For show notes, archived episodes, and more free resources, visit betterradiowebsites.com. Need help starting or making your radio website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.